Black and brown, yellow, Puerto Rican, or Haitian. Name is Fight Dog from the Zulu Nation.
Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with today?
Kayara Hartfield.
How long have you been training for?
I'd say I've been training for about 2 years, going on 3.
How long have you been fighting for?
2 years, going on 3. I definitely started fighting probably like 3 months after I walked in the gym.
Fair enough, fair enough. How long did you train before you fought? I know you said that, but...
About 3 months. I fought a lot like outside of the gym too, like in high school and stuff like that. Not like actually fighting like what I do now, but I've always been a fighter.
Did you have any crazy finishes in high school?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Can we get a story time on one of those?
Yeah. One time I was, my little brother was playing at the park with his friends, and this kid hit him. I came and told me, and we got into this fight, and I like, right hand actually, it's like the thing I love the most about my fighting style, but right hand, right down the middle, dude fucking, boom, right into a truck, fucking falls. I call that a finish.
Yeah, that's a finish. I call that a finish. What is your record and experience with fighting?
So right now I'm 3-2 in MMA, 2-0 Muay Thai, 2-0 kickboxing.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Now, I know you train under Perselli's Training Center. Why is that?
So honestly, I came in here with my friend. I didn't know any other MMA gyms. The reason why I stayed is the atmosphere of the gym, kind of the relationships that I've built with my teammates, my coaches, and we get everything. You know what I mean? From striking to grappling, wrestling. It's all in one gym. Definitely sad to stay here because of the relationships that I've built, the skills that I get. You know what I mean?
What would you say about Perselli's makes this gym stand out versus any other MMA gym? Because I know you've cross-trained previously.
Yeah. So that's just it. You know, like MMA, like I think all gyms, you know, have certain skills and stuff, and you can be the best of the best, but the family aspect of this gym is just different. You know, we pray after every practice. I've gone to other gyms, that never happens. You never feel like you're a part of it. You know what I mean? Like this feels like home when I come here. Yeah.
What would you say your style is, and how has that progressed through your fighting career thus far?
I think that I started off thinking that I was just a striker. Now, when I look at myself, I'm a finisher. I'm not a point fighter. So whether I need to use grappling or striking or whatever I need to possibly do to end the person that's in front of me, I feel like I'm allergic to judges' decisions. You know what I mean? I'm a finisher, you know.
Absolutely. What does fighting mean to you?
Everything. Man, it's like coming from a young kid, like I've always fought, whether that be like for other people or whatever I had going on. Fighting gave me that outlet. You know, like a young kid, I really liked to, I had a big problem with helping others, you know, rather than helping myself. Fighting was the first thing that I was able to do for me. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like I said, I've always been a fighter, like always fighting towards something and keeping, like, moving forward even when things are hard. And like in fighting, you get rewarded for that. You know what I mean? So it means a lot.
How would you say fighting has changed your life? Would you say for the better, for the worse, good and bad, in between?
Yeah, it's not all pretty, you know. I think that at first, I think we all kind of have dealt with it at some point in our kind of fighting journeys, is that we're really able to express ourselves in the violent side of us. So there's times where maybe I expressed that too much. So it was kind of hard to like calm down in the outside world, you know, but learning how to control that and kind of harness that when I need to, you know what I mean? I think it's changed me completely. And the biggest thing that I think I've gotten from it is a relationship with God. When I walked in this gym, I didn't have that, you know, and this journey has just led me closer and closer. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that I've taken from it, for sure.
That's good to hear. A lot of people in their early amateur careers, we know typically they like to stay local, you know, they don't venture out. Where all have you been, and where does that stem from of wanting to venture out early?
So I'd say for me, the reason why I travel, the reason why I fight a lot, when I first got here, I was 240 pounds. I couldn't find fights, obviously, that heavy for women. We're already limited, you know. There's no heavy opponents. So I had to get down to 175. I had my first fight at 175. That was super hard to find. And then it was super hard to find an MMA fight, locally especially. Got it at 155. After that, I couldn't find fights with anybody at any weight here in town. Especially with the heavy striking that I have, nobody wanted to step in there with me. So I had to take that initiative on my own and go find, fights outside. And I fought in Alabama, New York, Vegas, Minnesota. I want to say that's it, but I might be forgetting something. But yeah, I've definitely had to travel a lot for fighting. And I don't regret that. I'm not mad at that. I think everybody's journey is different. It has gave me the advantage of being put in the most uncomfortable position that I could be put in. When I go out and travel to fight in somebody's backyard, I'm hated. Nothing works in my favor. So you can't say that I didn't earn it. You know what I mean? Not only that, I go out there and I face the prospects, because I always tell people, in no way, shape, or form are you going to get free flight, free stay, and you're going to go fight some trash cans. So I've fought the best that I can find amateur. So it's worked in my favor, I feel.
Yeah. What would you say is the biggest show you've been on, and what was it like? Walk me through all the way from the experience of getting to travel out there, the moment that you walked and saw the big lights. I mean, you did start off with just a local kickboxing show that, isn't mainstream by any means, to go into a big show like Tough Enough.
Yeah.
Walk me through that experience.
That one's hard because I think that a lot of the out-of-state fights all had big lights, but every moment felt different. I'd say, like, one of my favorites was Flex Fight Series out in New York. Obviously, from a small town Iowa kid, New York, it's like, never would have thought I'd go fight in New York. That's crazy, right? So when I got there, the amount of fights that were on the card was insane. Like, how everything ran so fast. It was the most overwhelming experience, And then there was Tough Enough. And this Tough Enough was after New York, so I had felt like I had already been, under the big lights. Little did I know. So we go to walk out, and I look around. That's the first time, I think, in my amateur career that I wasn't so overwhelmed to the point where I could, smell the air. I looked around, and there's a lot of lights. It was very nerve-wracking. And it's like they kept getting bigger. LFA, the cage is huge. The lights it's so bright in there. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know if there's one that I feel like is the biggest. I think they were all crazy experiences. Almost like out-of-body experiences, walking out to those big lights and everybody screaming or booing, you know what I mean? Yeah, crazy experiences.
Yeah, for sure. So we know you've been on a tear, you've been fighting constantly. Is there any planned gap? Are you gonna, maybe before you turn pro, are you gonna take some time off to train, or are you just gonna keep rocking with the fight and make it work?
That's the big thing I get asked a lot. I fight a lot. I have a lot of fights under my belt, 9 to be exact now. And a lot of people ask me, don't you think it's time to go pro? No. I think that my best bet is I have a really, really big fight coming up in September. Really, really big venue. I think that my biggest goal right now is to get down to 135 and to be comfortable at 135. I'm in no rush to go pro. I'm 22 years old. I'm very young. A lot of potential. I think that I will get to the point where at 135, I feel comfortable enough to go pro. I feel good in every area. I don't have any holes, And when I get to that point, whenever a pro debut, comes, there will be a long layover to increase those skills. Probably about a year off to be able to make that pro debut.
Absolutely. What would you say is the next major milestone? Obviously the turn pro will be a thing, but is there some fight organization? Obviously there's the UFC, the PFL, one championship. What is the next big goal, and what is the end goal for you?
I'd say the next big goal, I've always been a person to look at what's in front of me. I do have big dreams, but I have to take it one step at a time. My next big goal is September 26th. That fight is going to be a really big fight. So preparing for that is definitely the next big goal. The end goal is I'd be happy with PFL or the UFC. And I definitely 110% feel that that's in my reach.
Absolutely. Do you think of yourself as a visualizer? From the moment you walked in here, or at some point in time, could you just see yourself under those big bright lights for some big venue, putting on some show that people just couldn't live without? They had to see Kayara Hartfield fight that night.
I think the big thing I tell people when I'm giving advice and things is know what you want out of life and take that shit. I came in here, 2 weeks later, I quit my job. When I make up my mind, I make up my mind. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So best believe you're going to see me on TV fighting. There's no second thought in the back of my head about it. You know what I mean? And I'll arrange my life accordingly to be able to pull off what I want to pull off. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely visualization that goes into it. You know, I see it all the way through. Law of attraction is a powerful thing.
Absolutely. Now, I know that obviously fighting is one of the biggest parts of your life and your faith. Do you have any other ventures going on? I see in your hand you have a drink there.
Yeah, so actually I started my own brand. It's 100% fruit juice. It's been really cool to be able to help other athletes and stuff fuel their body correctly. It started with me, you know. I don't drink caffeine. I can't drink caffeine. So I needed something to kind of fuel my workouts and stuff like that. And so I started drinking just fruit juice. And sitting there one day and I'm like, I could sell this. And sure enough, I sell it now. So, you know, we sell it in the gym, things like that, all over really. So that's one big one. I think another thing that fills a lot of my time is fishing. I like to fish a lot. Fishing and fighting is about what I do.
Yeah. If there were a few things, you can briefly list a few, but I'd really like you to narrow in on one thing that the majority of people don't know about Kayara Hartfield that you would want them to know, or maybe they wouldn't expect, you know, whatever the case may be. What's something about you that makes you you and that most people wouldn't know?
I think that, like, for the hard shell that I have on the outside, I'm a really caring person. Like, like I look after people. Like, since I was a little kid, I was always taking care of my mom, taking care of my siblings. I've always been like a protector, a provider. And that gets overlooked by how I look. You know what I mean? I look not nice, you know, and I'm a very nice person, very caring person. Even if people do me wrong, you know what I mean? I'm my opponents, you know what I mean? It's outside of the cage, it's all love, you know? Like, I've never been I don't know, as violent as I am, I'm a very, very happy, loving person. You know what I mean? I think that's the biggest thing I'd like people to know, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Why did you choose fighting over all the other career paths you could have done? You know, stuck with welding. I know you were previously in that. You could have went and did other sports. What about fighting set itself apart to where you decided that was for you?
So I've done like a lot of things in just a short amount of time that I've been alive, right? Entrepreneur. I made a lot of money like selling shoes and reselling and things like that. Got into welding. Like, I always tell people, like, I was making six figures right out of high school. You know, I could have chose a lot of paths. You know, I graduated early, very smart academically. I chose fighting because it was the one thing in my whole life that I didn't question. Like, do I want to do this? Do I see myself doing it? No. When I came here, this is what I want to do. Like, I've never done something that felt so right. It's like the perfect size shoe. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's me. That's who I am. Like, I fight. That's Kayara Hartfield. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like I almost feel like I didn't choose fighting. Fighting chose me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I didn't have to walk in the gym, but I did. I got that opportunity. I came here, and I've done what I've done already. You know, and it just feels so natural. It's nothing forced.
Yeah. One thing in life that a lot of people struggle with is, you know, when they're on the high highs, everything's great. How did you bounce back from the lows and the losses, whatever it may be? What were the things in life that always kept you coming back?
Like I say, I've been fighting since a young kid. You know, there were so many times in my childhood where everything was up here and then it went here in 2 seconds. You know, very messed up childhood, and lived in a lot of poverty. And there was one point in my life where we had this big house, big everything. You know, I stopped hanging with the wrong crowd, got a job. My brothers were in a good school. Mom had a good job. And one day we came home and it was literally like burned down. You know what I mean? And everybody's crying. Everybody's distraught. I'm there helping. You know what I mean? And I go to school the next day. You know, and I think that it's because I'm wired to keep moving forward. And I think that's what's helped me so much in fighting is adapting. You know, I've taken a loss and I'll come back a month later and get a win. You know what I mean? I'll never let the lows keep me low, you know, ever. I think it's important to know how to get back up. And like, my coach is worried about me taking hard fights, you know, but I've always assured him that win, lose, draw. Amateurs for experience. We're doing this to learn and grow, and a loss cannot break me. It breaks a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like lows keep people low. I will not be one of those.
What would you say about fighting has made your faith grow?
Oh man, I want to first start out with like the people around me. This gym specifically at Priscilla's Training Center. It's so incorporated into our training. Like we pray before, or after practices, like I said. And then the biggest thing is when you're in a cage with another person who's most of the time equally as trained as you, 4-ounce gloves, anything could happen. It's so quiet. Everybody would think it'd be so loud. But I know for a fact that me as a human being, I'm not strong enough to do what I did. I'm not. Without God, I can't do that. And in those times, that's where I could hear him. I could feel him. You know what I mean? And it's so crazy because actually, before I came here, I went through a really hard patch in my life. And I remember that was the first time in my life where I actually like broke down and prayed. And like I'm gonna say like a week later, I hit up my friend Vinny. Shout out to him. And we got to talking, just about the situation. I remember we met up at Anytime Fitness, and he's just like, hey, come to this MMA gym. And I feel like that was God. You know what I mean? Like, he sent him, so he's definitely, I think, the reason why I got into this in general. Like, how does something feel so perfect and you think you just found it on your own? You didn't, You didn't. No way.
Yeah. What are your ambitions in life after fighting? Have you thought that far, or is there any goals that you have for once you do hang up the gloves?
Yeah, I think that no matter where I end up, no matter what I do, as long as my little brother's taken care of, I'll be like the happiest person in the world. It's less about me, to be honest. Like, it's about my family. I just want to make sure they're good. Like, that's it. Definitely want to have some lamb, some chickens, some cows, But yeah, the biggest thing, my biggest end goal is ensuring that my family is okay. Like, poverty's been such a big thing, and like money's so stupid because it's so, I don't know, a crazy thing. So as long as they're good, I'm good. You know what I mean?
That's good. So I know you previously fought in the TBAs. What was that experience like for you?
Man, that was a crazy experience because here at Priscilla's Training Center, we do everything, but not a lot of Muay Thai. So, we train it a little bit, obviously. I mean, I started out kickboxing. We wrestle, we work the clinch. But I don't go to a 100% Muay Thai gym, and never did I have intentions on fighting Muay Thai. But as you know, it's hard to find fights. One of my coaches, Steve Muniz, was so generous to be able to sign me up and enroll me in that, and it was a great opportunity. Like, it was crazy because it's a world tournament, so you got people coming from everywhere, and you have no idea who you're gonna fight. There's 4 rings, and at that point in time, I won't lie, I underestimated Muay Thai. Thought it would be more slower paced. Those girls are tough. I've never had somebody be willing to stand in front of me and bang, and that's what we did. We went all out. It was a great experience. I got to do it with my team, which I don't get to do very often. Most of the time, it's me and one other teammate going out states away, So I think that was the best part about the whole tournament. The belt was cool, everything was cool, but I got pictures with my whole team, Got to share the whole experience. That was probably the best part.
Awesome. What would you say is the greatest fight of your life? Everyone has that one battle in their life. Typically, even for fighters, it's not actually a match. But what is that fight in your life?
I'd say it's a weird thing, but when I was younger, like I said, we had a lot of poverty, you know what I mean? And being the provider, protector that I am, I just wanted to help, just fix stuff. I did that by selling drugs. I got into hanging out with the wrong crowd, and I just wanted my mom's bills to be paid. We didn't have food, so I put food on the table, the only way I knew how at the time. You get addicted to that fast money coming in, And I tried multiple times. Like there's times, like where I came this close to death. And that never made me stop. Never made me stop. And then one day, sure enough, I was 14 years old. I was in the house with my two younger siblings. They were sleeping. And I had just got a shipment in. And I was literally had my backpack on, walking to the front door. Boom, boom, boom. And we were getting raided. And they brought my younger siblings out. They had me at gunpoint. I got them on my knees. My hands are behind my head. They didn't believe I was only 14 years old. But the look on my younger siblings' faces, the look on my mom's face when she came in distraught, not understanding why I was doing that, that was probably the biggest battle I've ever fought. Because at that point in time, I didn't think twice. I'm done. There's no more. You know what I mean? And like, it's hard for like making that much money fast to just go back to a regular job. I didn't think twice about it. You know what I mean? For the sake of my family, it was over. Just stop. Like, it wasn't almost dying. It wasn't fighting. It wasn't any of that that made me stop. It was my family. I take pride in that. I care about my family.
As we wrap up this interview, Kayara, what's the one message you want to leave with people today?
I think the biggest message I want to leave with people is to understand that your past doesn't define you. You can be where I was and still become something. You know what I mean? Like, when I think about it, I'm not even supposed to be where I'm at, considering what I went through. Like, if you look at my childhood and what I've been through, you wouldn't think that I'd be in this chair talking to you. I'm not even supposed to be here. You know what I mean? And I think that's the biggest thing that every hard chapter of my life taught me, that you can continue to grow. You can change your whole life. You know what I mean? And the biggest thing is you can't do that with friends. You're not going to be able to do that with a certain amount of money. You're not going to be able to do that because of this job or because of that. The only reason why I got through what I got through was because of God. That's it. That I put everything into that. You know what I mean? And I think that without God, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today. I wouldn't be the person that I am. I wouldn't be the fighter that I am. So yeah, that's the biggest message I'd like people to take from this.
Thank you.
Yeah.